He's a Professor Anil Gupta. He's a retired professor from IIM Ahmedabad. She's Dr. Anamika De. She's also a visiting professor at Indian Institute of Management, IIM Ahmedabad. And he's Chetan Patel. He's a National Secretary for Shodh Yatra. I'm Setrisham Sangam. I'm from Nagaland. I'm the founder of Better Life Foundation.
This was our 50th Shodh Yatra. We have been walking in different parts of the country for the last more than 25-30 years. The Honeybee Network was set up 35 years ago to give voice, visibility and velocity to the grassroots innovations and outstanding traditional knowledge holders. We recognized the need for proving that mind on the margin are not marginal mind, which is the subtitle of my book on grassroots innovations. We set up 3 institutions, Srishti in 93, Gyan in 97 and National Innovation Foundation in 2000. This Shodh Yatra was organized by Srishti and Gyan together with the help of Better Life Foundation and the volunteers in the communities who helped us and who hosted us during this period. The Shodh Yatra was also special because more than 55 people from 14 states walked with us during last week and were witness to the tremendous cultural richness, biodiversity richness and institutional richness of the region we walked in Kifre district. In Kifre district there is a project that Department of Biotechnology Government of India had supported for conservation of bioresources through bio-enterprises. So we have a team there. Gyan has a team there which has been working, and I'll come to that in a few minutes. What we realized was, most remarkable thing, I will begin from the last day of our Shodh Yatra yesterday in Tithu village, where the hunting has been banned, and the first time we heard the sound of the bird chirping, and it was so refreshing because you know the situation in many other parts of Nagaland where it is not common to hear the birds fluttering and singing songs. But in this village, we were witness to the sounds and the sight of the birds and other wildlife that has been there. The entire credit goes to the community, which has put a fine of 50,000 rupees per person if we got for the hunting. What did we do in Shodh Yatra? So we shared with the communities innovation that we have collected from different parts of the country. So we had a poster exhibition. We'll send you the photographs. Poster exhibition where we took about 65 posters of innovation by children, by farmers, by artisans, by mechanics, by women, and put them on a string so that children and others could see openly and explain to them how these solutions have been developed. We also shared in this document and 3 other documents that we gave in every community, the knowledge that has been documented by scholars in Nagaland in the past and was never shared with the communities. People came from outside, documented the knowledge of the diversity and traditional knowledge, published papers, but never shared back with the community. One of the principles of Honeybee Network is whatever is collected from the people must go back to them, acknowledging them by name and their location, so that their identity is protected. They are given visibility, voice and velocity. So as you will see, there is a compilation of the knowledge of different plants that was compiled by different authors in 2016, in 99, but communities did not know that this knowledge exists in their region. So this is one thing that we did. Then we also realized that there is a huge amount of diversity that exists in the region which has also not been documented. So in this document, in a second document of agriculture practices, there is a study that we did, Gyan did. We documented more than 34 different pulses, Kolar, the Rajma, from Kifre district, 5 of which were found by Tata Institute of Genetics and Society in Bengaluru. I am on the research board of this institute, were having more iron content than any other pulse in the country. Now imagine 60% women are anemic, as you know, and if we could highlight this characteristic, and this becomes part of nutrition, both people within here, because even people here don't know that 5 such varieties exist which have so much high iron content, then we could help overcome anemia problem by just consuming the diversity of rajma in this district alone. Maybe there are other districts have even more richness, which we have not yet explored. So we see a great potential for characterizing the biodiversity of the region, agrobiodiversity of the region, and leveraging it for the consumers around the country and creating a new image, if possible, if you permit me to say so, of nutritionally rich, biodiversity rich, culturally rich Nagaland. Because this aspect has not been highlighted in the past. I'm sure you know that. We also found that this is just one element, zinc and iron, that we have seen. Even in zinc, some of the varieties were very rich, but iron, they were outstanding. And we have given the value of mean value and standard deviation of each variety here. And this was done using by some of the best solutions, best technologies that we have in the country. We have so far covered, as you will see here, all these states through Shodh Yatra, from Andaman Island to Garage Valley. We have also shared with all the communities the databases that Honeybee Network has compiled in the last 35 years. Databases of common property institutions, databases of farmer practices, databases of animal treatment practices, and databases of innovations. All these, just by scanning it, as you will find yourself when you have time to look at it, all these now have been given to each community that we met during the last week. So in some sense, these databases are now available to every individual of the district, in the villages which we have covered. And we would very much wish that you can share them wherever you get a chance, so that other people in the state can also benefit from open access database. No permission is required, no registration required, no password required. Now this we are doing because all the knowledge that we have, for example, one database, techpedia.in. Techpedia.in has a 200,000 engineering project information. 200,000 by 500,000 students of our country. So if every student in Nagaland of technology benchmarks his or her ideas with the knowledge base here, their level of excellence goes up, their level of imagination goes up. Similarly, we have databases of common property institutions, which, as you would know, are very important part of the conservation. Common forest, common grazing land, common water pond. And these institutions, how the people have maintained the roots has been shown. We also have a database of which Gyan has helped set up, the UNDP, grid.undp.co.in, which has about a few thousand practices, both for hygiene, sanitation, and also farmers' practices. It is very interesting that the villages were very clean, that we noticed. Much cleaner than most of the villages we have visited in other parts of the country. Standard of sanitation were amazingly high. And I would like that this part of Nagaland must be showcased to the entire country. If I say that Kifere, at least the one that we have seen much more detail, last time we were in Tuensang, 38 Shodh Yatra was in Tuensang, and we have had, this was second Shodh Yatra that we had. The high standard of sanitation were very impressive. We have noticed that the fruits and vegetables were of much bigger size here than other places. The cauliflower of this size, cabbage of this size, fruits of big size. And we assume that it is largely because the organic carbon in the soil is said to be more than 5% in the region. We need minimum 2% for sustainable agriculture. The average carbon in the soil of rest of the country is just 0.5%. So if you look at the sustainability curve, 2% would have been sufficient, but here it is double the sustainability benchmark of carbon, organic carbon in the soil, because huge amount of farmyard manure and pigs excreta and all of that goes into the soil, enriching the soil. So we are also trying to find the microbial diversity of the soil samples here. The diversity of color and contrast in Khelas is evident, all of you know. But what impressed us that, at least in the villages we met, there was an attempt even to come out with new designs and colors in Makhelas. So in other words, there is an attempt, even in a very traditionally rooted culture of designs of clothes, attire, an effort to do experiment and innovate. This was remarkable, because we thought that in a tradition-bound society, perhaps the scope of innovation would be limited. We met some very outstanding innovators, one of whom was recognized at Rashtrapati Bhavan last year, in April, 10 to 13th April of 2023. And he, from one of the villages, he had developed, I will tell you his name in a minute, he had developed the pruning devices for cardamom. Now, before that, some other innovators have been, Imli Toshi was one of the first to organize from Nagaland, and there were many other innovators who have received awards at Rashtrapati Bhavan through the efforts of our network and also National Innovation Foundation. So what we were trying to do is that we invited some innovators from here to People's Festival of Innovation held at IIC from 28th November to 2nd December 2023. So we are trying to help connect the creativity of this region with the People's Festival of Innovation, with Satvik Traditional Food Festival. Last year we had it at Ahmedabad, and Perilla soup was very popular among the consumers in Ahmedabad. Together, there are three places where we have this project of Gyan: Sikkim, West Sikkim, Gezing and Soren, Baramulla in Kashmir, and Kifre in Nagaland. All the three are aspirational districts which have been recognized by Niti Aayog, as you know. And we were trying to prove that they may be economically backward so far in the indices of development that country has, but they are not backward in terms of the culture, institutions and knowledge. What we want to do, let me state briefly and then we'll have your questions. Whatever knowledge we have collected will go back to them with their name and identity in a report that we will share in month of March. We will share every photograph that we have taken from the region will go back to the people whose photographs these are. Because we think that we have no God-given right to take photographs of people without sharing it with them. That is second accountability that we will have. Third thing that we will do is that there is a small startup that Anamika has started, so that when the project of DBT, Department of Biotechnology, ends, the relationship with community should not end. So Little Himalayan company has been set up to commercialize the products of this region, ensuring that the identity of the community is recognized and benefits are shared back with the community. Not only benefits in terms of monetary incentives, but also the product themselves will be coming back to this region so that they can sell it to other groups. So large number of self-help groups exist. But as you know, they don't trade anything among themselves. There is no horizontal market among self-help groups. So we would like that these products that we are developing, packaged by the company, which is set up as a social innovation, social enterprise, will also promote horizontal trading and of course trading with the consumers in Kifre or maybe in Dimapur or Kohima, so that you will have direct access to the products of the self-help groups. We are also ensuring that the educational level improves. We were struck, this is a sore point, we were struck by the fact that children were not so happy with the condition of education. Sometimes teachers were not regular, sometimes they were not spending enough effort. So we had taken with us our Shodh Yatris had taken some devices for making robot or making some other things. They also taken a drone to show them. So children are very excited to operate these solutions. So we are trying that they will get some kits in these villages where we went, so that they will learn to assemble and disassemble these devices and at least come at par, if not higher, than the children of the cities which have access to these things. I will close by saying that our hope is that this Shodh Yatra will herald a new way of new relationship between Honeybee Network and our partners here, Kyan, Sashti and Petal Light Foundation, with the communities, so that we are able to improve, we are able to create market-mediated model of poverty alleviation, where knowledge of the communities will be leveraged. In every village, we try to argue that knowledge of the elders is precious, and every time an elderly person dies, a library is buried. Therefore, we pleaded with the communities to create a village knowledge bank or village knowledge register, where through the children in the school, we document the traditional knowledge of the communities and institutions and even songs and stories in the register. you know that there is no such record at the moment being maintained in each village. But why not should it be done? Why shouldn't it be done? Why should it be lost? The relationship between the grandchildren and the grandparent is becoming weaker, not as much in this region as in other parts. But there is no guarantee that many of the young people will be able to explain to us significance of all these stripes of the black and red color which are made by the plants on the dress of the men and women. They will not be able to decipher. Many young people couldn't decipher the symbolism because it is not something they are finding it intriguing enough. But we believe that this is a very important part of the history and culture of this place and should therefore be preserved. So I would stop here and say that we are very excited by what we learned. The food in one village, there were 24 different kinds of cuisines. The organized recipe competition and honored the women, 24 different cuisine at a lunch on a table. If you see, by looking at it itself, you feel so satiated, you know. So there's a huge scope of very healthy food, semi-cooked food. No one dish was overcooked. Semi-cooked, which means their nutrition is preserved, and hardly any oil, very little oil in the dishes. There's hardly any oil, and very nutritionally, tastefully done. So I would say that the healthy tradition of food that they have should be highlighted. I must not forget to mention that we met several grandparents, grandfather and mother of 106, 107 years. We touched their feet and took their blessings and asked them and requested them to give advice to young people so that they could live for 100 years. And one of the grandfather of our society said, be truthful and do a lot of work, you will live long. That was good advice, but coming from a person who has lived in a very agile manner for 107 years was very gratifying.